Hello and welcome to the morning show team of with RevSportz. We are back with the WTC final review. We will analyze it full. And another one, Manchester City has won the Champions League, and Subhan will treat us all. His team has won the treble, and Jaydeep says he has went to sleep 4 in the morning. So lots to discuss. But Jaydeep, coming to the WTC final, first 200 runs win for Australia, back to back losses for India, and it's all okay. But did you expect the match to end within the first session in that fashion? Before we go into detail analysis, thoughts on that one?
I always knew that the first hour was going to be very special. Two reasons. One is that the bowlers are fresh and the batters have to get set once again. So no matter what you are on, sometimes we feel if Virat Kohli is batting on 40 or 140 or 240, once you have a break, and the longer the break, the more it takes to get set. And every day is different when you go. Like when we wake up in the morning, we don't sleep the same every day. There are days of the week we don't wake up right. We don't wake up bright. So just because I'm 40 batting and milking it doesn't mean that's going to continue tomorrow. That's not a given because there are a lot of physical factors that come in. My feel might not be. It's happened to me when I've been 70 not out overnight and I've gone the next day and I said, my God, even scoring one run has become so difficult today. And yesterday was a walk in the park. So that can happen. All I'm saying is, I'm not saying Virat was feeling that. All I'm saying is, before Virat got set, he got undone by a ball which he should have left alone. But just in his defense, because they've played this game, the two balls came in after pitching before that. Now, this ball was not hitting the stumps. So, one is that he could have left it, but Virat was playing in a certain rhythm. Virat is not Pujara where he leave 100 balls in play. He's a stroke picker. At some point of time, he'll play shots. Now, the only problem that happened with this ball is that ball fell and sort of straightened or slightly left. So he played thinking that it's going to come in. But that is the reason why Scott Boland averages 13 with the ball. Accuracy and guile together. Accuracy without guile, no good. Guile without accuracy, no good. They both come together. Glenn McGrath is the biggest example you have. And Jimmy Anderson at 40 about to play the Ashes. And 685 test wickets. So I did not expect it, but I always knew, and we discussed amongst ourselves, the three of us, that the first hour, because you have to get set again, whether it's Rahane, whether it's Virat, whoever it is, you have to get set. And that is where I thought before Australia hit the straps, before India could get set. If half an hour no wickets fell, then you're back to the rhythm again. Before that only, I think 3 o'clock game started, 3:29, one wicket, 3:31 the next wicket, and it was as good as over.
Yeah, exactly. So Shivan, same question to you as well. But adding to that, that dismissal of Shubman Gill, was that the crucial moment in the game? Yes, we'll come to Rohit Sharma and Chiteshwar Pujara's dismissals, but thoughts on that one? Was that out for you?
That was a very tough call. There are many different opinions going around. Some stating the rules that Cameron Green was in the control of the ball when he caught the ball. So that is something that is written in the rule, and it's a very gray area. I mean, the ball was clearly touching the ground when we zoom in the picture. Uh, and the most baffling thing, which is something Rohit also mentioned in the press conference, that there should have been more camera angles displayed on the big screen out there also in the stadium. So there is less confusion. This is a big game. This is like a VAR taking a very quick call without even taking a look at different angles. So a very gray area, very tricky call. It was a 50-50 call, no soft signal nowadays. So whatever is out, or not out is not out. So the umpire went with his gut feeling, with what he saw, and he was booed when he was collecting the medal. Simple as that. The fans. This will always happen in sport. One set of fans will like the decision, one set of fans will dislike the decision, and that is what happened. But yes, there should have been more camera angles to it. But yeah, a very important wicket there.
Rohita, anything? You would like
Yeah,
to say on
I
this?
just want to. Yeah, I want to add to that that in the ultimate Test match, there must have been more cameras than there has been for any cricket match in the world. Because I do a lot of broadcasting, and I know sometimes it's a limited crew, so it's about 8, 10 cameras, then it's about 16 cameras, 26 cameras, 36 cameras. IPL has some 40 crazy cameras. If IPL has 40 cameras, there must have been 60 here. See, what Shubhan makes a great point. It's the rule. It's 33.3.3.3 is the rule book, ICC rule book. If a blade of grass touches the ball, it's actually still out because the grass could be this long. I have played in outfields where the grass is this long. Now, anytime I take a catch like this, there'll be a blade of grass that's hitting. The blade of grass doesn't constitute as ground. Ground is the soil. So if I have my hands under the ball, and that's the rule. Now, while I was getting up, even if it touches the grass, it has to touch the ground. Now, like Shubhain says, it's impossible to figure this out, even if there are another 100 cameras. You need another slicko if the ball is hitting the grass or the ground. How will you figure it out? That is where I think the problem with Richard Kettleborough was that because it was given out, he did not see enough to overrule it. If it was given not out, he would have stayed with that also. So the third umpire can take all the bulls, but we know what has happened. And sometimes
But
in life there is always that little bit of a gray area in whatever you do. It's not always black and white.
exactly,
There's a
and
line.
the only thing that has been going on in social media is winning benefit of doubt. It goes to the batter. So that's the one
No,
thing that has been.
the on-field umpire did not think there was a benefit of the doubt. He
Mhm.
felt that the
It is
finger
a man.
and initially he's got huge hands. Initially, the hand was in. It's only when he was trying did this was there's a chance that it. Now who's going to dissect this? It gets
Mhm.
hazy as you zoom in. Is that the grass or the ground? It's impossible to say. Impossible. Just like it's impossible to say a nick. Sometimes we are not sure. As a batter, we are not sure. And then we see the feather and we say, oh my God, yeah, there is. So science has to come into it. And we are far away from that right now. But I see if it goes your way, like you said, if it goes your way, fine. But in life, some go your way, some don't. They even out.
Exactly. Well, Shubhan, after that wicket, it was more responsibility from Rohit Sharma and Pujara. That Pujara shot was not like Pujara shot, and Rohit Sharma couldn't have tried to sweep that ball. So your thoughts on those two dismissals that changed the trajectory of the game?
I think the moral of the second inning, especially of the Indian batting, has been the shot selection, the execution of some of the shots that they were questionable without a doubt. Cheteshwar Pujara's dismissal, ramp shot, he generally doesn't play those kind of shots, especially in Test cricket. In T20 cricket, still it's different ball game, but in Test cricket, he doesn't generally play that shot. When it comes to Virat Kohli, he was chasing a delivery that was on his seventh stump perhaps. These were the dismissal. Even when you take a look at Ravindra Jadeja, he just gave a glance to that ball which was on his fifth stump. Again, on an ideal day, he would have left that because that was right in the channel. But the shot selection is something which played a huge role in India's downfall. When India did well in England, you look at all the batters who scored the runs. Also, Virat Kohli, he was leaving all the deliveries. James Anderson, Stuart Broad, anything outside fifth stump, they were leaving the deliveries. But this time, maybe they are in that IPL groove, IPL zone that, चलो बाहर का बॉल है एक ट्राई कर लेते चौका निकल गया तो the bowler will be back in pressure again. So that is something which comes. I think Joyda can explain it better when you are in a zone. In a wide ball zone, you are driving everything that is in the fifth stump, that is in the sixth stump for the taking. But in Test
Yeah,
cricket, you generally leave those balls.
yeah, I think two things happened. One is that because the pitch was not seaming around, the batters felt
Mm.
a level of comfort. If this bull was really jacking in her as it was on day one, then maybe the drive wouldn't have come. Two is that I think India did not want to just play the waiting game and wanted to play some shots. That was evident the moment
Mm.
Rohit and Gill came to bat because once you shut shop, then what happens for the first 20 25 overs, it's okay. After that, when you see in 25 overs you're 55, then there's no way you can get the target. Then they have six fielders on you and they're breathing down your neck and you've got no place to move. And India didn't want that, and rightly so, because they went positively. For me, Even Shubman Gill's shot, I know it was whether it's catch or not, was a loose one. Because it's only when you push that it go to gully. I've seen Sunil Gavaskar as a young boy playing this ball, and the ball will drop here, a foot away from his bat. It won't reach gully. So as an opener, you have to respect the new ball conditions. But that's the new trend. I think Sunil Gavaskar, we won't find anybody who bats like Sunil Gavaskar now. Because I'm talking about 70s and 80s, and now it's 20 plus. With the advent of white ball cricket, the game has changed totally. So it's not right to compare. But what I'm saying is for me, Gill, Rohit, Pujara, Virat, and Rahane all played loose shots at different times. Only I'll give the benefit of the doubt to Jadeja because Bolan came round the wicket with the angle ball coming in. If you leave that ball, if that ball jags back in, so if he bowls the ball that got Virat, which went away to the right hander, if this one comes in, he's bowled to LBW. And he's just played 2, 3 balls. So he's not yet got his mojo. He doesn't know what's going on. And that ball leaves him. At least he didn't throw it away. It was a defensive shot. So we got to give him that. He got beaten. So if there are 5 guys, that's why Gavaskar on TV and everybody and Rahul Dravid himself, he would have never played any of those 5 shots. So as a coach, he feels. But also, yeah, so we need to worry about our preparation more than anything else. For me, we played a final, which is good. But where are we going wrong? Last year, where did we go wrong? This year, where did we go wrong? I mean, last time. That's what we want to.
Exactly. That was my next question, Lalita.
Yeah.
And you mentioned this uh, mentality of the players to hit every ball. I was listening to
No, I
a
think I think not to hit every ball, but to to be to be try and get 3 or 4 runs and over. To be aggressive in the mind, like baseball. Baseball is 7 runs and over. I'm talking about 3 runs and over.
Hmm.
Because now you will find very few players who will come and bat 100 balls for 30. It will not happen because because we play more of white ball cricket. Everybody's trying to play IPL, so that will filter into this. That's a given.
Well, talking about this one, the scheduling. Earlier, Ravi Shastri said it. They did not get much time to prepare. Rohit Sharma now said same thing. So, what is the solution for this? Because IPL will be there, WTC will be there. So, what can India do for the next cycle of WTC? Jadipta Shubhan, Shubhan go first.
Shubham, go
I,
first.
I think I think I think if they are serious about something, for example, take out the example of Australian cricketers. This time around, they had that WTC final, they have the Ashes, followed by the ODI World Cup. So many of the players, be it Mitchell Stark doesn't play IPL nowadays, but Pat Cummins, these big guys, they pulled out their name from the IPL auction. Similarly, I'm not asking the likes of Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli to pull out of the IPL auction, but as Rohit said in the post-match press conference that ideally we would have wanted a 20-25 day preparation time for this match. So why not go drop a few matches of your team and go to England and or wherever the series is and start practicing. I know it is extremely hard and will never happen because these are marquee players of the marquee tournament of the BCCI, and not only the franchisee but the board will also want them to play. Otherwise, you won't see that 3.2 crore, 3.5 crore viewers watching the matches. So that is something very tricky area. But such is the scheduling. You don't have a window. If you have to win something, you will have to sacrifice something. Whether they will do it or not, very tough, very tough.
So,
Yeah,
Boyle had a point on this. Yes,
yeah, for
Rajita.
me, Rohan, I feel that you can't do anything to Virat and Rohit and Shami and Siraj, as Shubhan rightly said. But pick out the players who are sitting in the IPL. Give them their money. Shardul Thakur. Okay. Pujara doesn't play. Okay. So you pick out the guys who are sitting. Ashwin. There are some guys who are not playing every game in the IPL. You pick those guys out. Umesh didn't play much games. You'd give them their whatever money they're getting from the IPL and just say, let's get ready for the World Test Championship. There'll be 3 or 4 guys. If you look at it, Shami and Siraj held their own because, as I said before, we discussed this. It's easier for the bowlers to make the transition. It's more difficult for the batters because the bowlers have spells to come back on. The batters is one ball game. One gone, you're done. Bowlers, 4, no problem. Bowl again, bowl again. Okay, take a break. Come and bowl again. Come, bowl that end. Bowl from this end. Okay, A new batter has come. Bowl to him. It'll be easier for him, you to bowl now. Because, a Pujara has come compared to, say, a Gill or a Rohit who's playing shots. Okay. So there are many ways you can protect a bowler and, give him a bit of a cushioning, but there's nothing for the batter. So that is the reason why I feel, see, like Shubhayan says, the schedule is what it is. The IPL, nobody's going to miss.
Mm.
There are far too many things attached to it. So what can be done? So can we tell KKR, can you give us Umesh Yadav? How much are you getting? X amount. Here's the money. Come with us. Let's go to England. Play county cricket. Shardul, play county cricket. Play a month of county cricket. Let's see if we can be ready.
Mm.
So that's the only planning I see. And also identify some cricketers in the 15 who are not playing IPL. And Abhimanyu Ishwaran doesn't play IPL. Ahanuma Vihari, just to pick some names. They don't play the IPL, but make them test match specialists.
Yes. So keep a separate set of players, especially for test. And
At
Haryana
least,
had
at least 4, 5. I mean, there will be Rohit, and I'm not
mm,
saying the whole 11, but 4, 5 who are more ready than the others.
exactly. So um, there was another point Boyana was making it. He had a review video on this also. Uh, whether BCCI can influence or push the ICC to shift the WTC to final to a September session or not.
Nothing like it. I don't know if that's going to happen. None of us know if that is
Uh,
possible or not.
exactly.
But that is the ideal scenario. But I'm saying if that does not happen, IPL has its window. If this is when the WTC is going to be, then it is what it is. Because if it gets pushed back, nothing like it.
Exactly.
But
But
joy the June window, it takes out the Asian community completely. You can't play in Sri Lanka because of monsoon. You can't play in India due to extreme heat. You can't play in Bangladesh due to extreme heat and monsoon. June, I guess only England can host matches in June, and
Yeah,
maybe Australia.
I don't know what determines who hosts it and when, but I would ideally like it to
Lords is
be
hosting the next. Lords is hosting the next one in 25.
yeah. So, my point is that I don't know what determines who's hosting it, but I just feel that it should be by rotation and
mm,
every country should host it at a time when it's best suited to play country. If it's Australia, it's over the winter. If it's England, it's over the summer. If it's in India, it's again over the winter. So everybody
correct.
should be able to host it. Because if we say that 2027 is going to be in November in Bangalore or in Kolkata, now no idea who's going to be in that test final. So it's nobody to nobody's advantage.
Mm,
Okay. It's like the World Cup. In the World Cup in football, if it's going to be wherever, you don't know who's going to be in the final. So if it's going to be in Qatar where it's really warm, whether it's going to be a hindrance to the England players and help the Brazilian players because it's much warmer, we don't know. So leave and do the schedule for the next 5 years and keep it so that everybody knows. If it's advantageous to somebody, good enough. If it's not, it's not. But it has been said 5 years back, so we can't do anything about it.
exactly.
Yeah.
And Shubhan, another point we were discussing the second day or the first day, I think, Ravichandran Ashwin, and the question would arise if India loses the match. And now, after seeing the match, do you think Ravi Ashwin could have fitted well in these conditions?
No, he was there in my predicted 11, and we saw what Nathan Lyon picked up 4 wickets in the
Mm,
second innings,
exactly.
and there are a few former cricketers who mentioned it. It was Sunil Gavaskar also who mentioned it that India picked up the team only for day one of that test. They thought about the overhead conditions. They thought about the bit of grass on the pitch. They didn't realize the dryness underneath it, and they went with 4 pacers. They went with bowling first decision and support. Whereas look at Nathan Lyon. We always talk about these matchups. Right arm off spinners can't bowl to right-handers. He picked up 4 right-handers, including your big wicket of Rohit Sharma. So yes, when it comes to quality, world-class bowlers like Nathan Lyon, Ravichandran Ashwin, they can bowl in any conditions. They can bowl against any opposition at any point of time. That is what I feel. And yeah, this is what it is. Unfortunate of India's highest wicket taker in this cycle to miss out on the final again, once again.
Exactly. And I was missing Rishabh Pant much. Garinda, yes, your thoughts on that?
Yeah,
Ravi Ashwin,
just to add to what Shubhayan says, I think everybody missed Ashwin, and Rahul and Rohit also would have wanted to play him. But sometimes you're in these situations, and it's happened to me lots of times as coach or director of cricket. where I have to make a really tough choice. And what happens? Jadeja has been the best batter leading up to the WTC with an average of 46. So I don't have the luxury of playing two spinners. Ashwin has got 500s, we know. But in the last 1 year, lead up to this World Test Championship final, Jadeja is averaging 46, which is more than any other batter in the team. So I can't drop him. Then he's got the bowling, the steady bowling as well. I think India lost the test match on day one. On that wicket, you cannot let them give that many runs. We
Mm.
bowled very poorly to Travis Head. If we had bowled what we bowled to Travis Head in the second innings, in the first innings, we would have been in this game. We fed Travis Head, and by the time we actually started the short ball barrage, he was batting on 95, and he was set, and he played his chances. But for me, ideally, everybody knows the stats we are saying. Rahul and Rohit know it more than us because they play with them all the time. But in spite of that, sometimes you got to put yourself in their shoes and feel why did they did it. Now Rahul and Rohit are not two dumbos. They're very, very intelligent legends of the game. They understand cricket probably more than all of us put together. In spite of that, if they did it, sometimes you have to wonder why didn't Kyle Walker play the final? He's been superb. Sometimes there are things that we don't understand that we have to be in the management to understand. And yes, I think winning the toss in fielding was right. Pat Cummins also said right in fielding. We did not bowl well. That is where our problem is for me. If we had batted and if we were 147 all out, then all of us would have said, why did we bat when it's so grey and so green? So we faltered in the skill set, not in a decision making. And Ashwin could not be accommodated in spite of all the effort because you cannot go with three seamers. Shardul cannot be the third seamer. He's not good enough. A third seamer is your banker, is your bowler. So you had to play Umesh. Then you had to play Shardul because didn't want to play with two spinners on first 2 days. It's going to be all about seam. So if our bowlers had really bowled well on day one, plans in place, bowl out Australia for 220, 30 also, no problem. You're in the game. Once you let a guy get 160, why did he get man of the match? Because no, there was no discussion regarding it. It was his inning. There was a difference between India winning and India losing. Nobody else got what? India, nobody got half the runs he did. That's how good he was.
Exactly. And another thing, before we in the show, Pat Cummins' captaincy, Shubhan, he was spot on with the decision for leaving the batting and with the bowling. Your thoughts on Pat Cummins' captaincy throughout?
I love his bowling changes. I've loved Pat Cummins' captaincy, whatever I've seen it in this entire cycle since he has come in. Uh, when Mitchell started badly, a bit on a rough side, he removed him. He gave him a 5 over break, brought in Scott Boland. When he saw that Scott Boland is bowling well with the new ball, then he gave him the opportunity straight away in the second innings to bowl with the new ball. He brought in Nathan Lyon when it was required. When the fourth pacers needed a bit of rest, he brought in a Cameron Green, gave him a short 4 over, 3 over burst. So he's changed all his bowler in those short spells so that everyone is fresh, everyone is raring to go. That is something which I absolutely loved about Pat Cummins. And another thing which is a very minute one because I see Indian bowlers they get very excited when they get a DRS call. Straight away they want the captain to take the DRS. They keep on pushing.
We are
Siraj,
emotional people by nature.
ah,
We are emotional
Sir-
people. How
Siraj is
how were
looking.
how were you on Saturday night at 3:30 when the final whistle blew? We
I
are
don't
emotional people.
remember.
Yes,
I don't
exactly. We are
remember.
emotional people by nature.
Yeah, but Pat Cummins was very. If Alex Carey is saying no, it is going not. It is going wide of the off stump or leg stump. Then Pat Cummins is like, okay. Even in his own bowling, he's like, okay, I'm not taking the DRS. So that is something which I liked about his captain.
I think what I really like about him is his balance. Shubhan has said most. I just want to add the field set that he had. When Cam Green came, he straight away put point back because he did not want that Virat should hit him for a four and Cam Green will be thinking of now saving runs instead of getting him out. So a lot of people were wondering yesterday, yesterday on the fourth day when he was bowling, why is the point back? The commentators were going because Cam Green is the weakest link in that bowling. He's just finding his feet in Test match cricket. So what they did was they put a point back. That one bad ball you bowl, you don't give a four away. so that the
Mm.
rest 5 balls you're thinking of getting him out instead of keeping the runs
Mm.
down. Bowlers bowl with two things in mind. One is to get a batter out or to keep the runs down. And in a test match, you always want the bowler to bowl with the thought of getting the batter out, right? That's what this game is all about.
Mm.
In that, if Virat hits 1-4 and takes a two there, then he's now thinking, oh, I've given six and over, 6 runs in 2 balls. I have to now keep dot balls. So now my focus is shifted from getting out to keeping runs
Getting
down.
it up.
And so he gave him the field back. See, 2 years from now, Cameroon will have the point up because he'll be a ready product. This is how you
Mm.
make players. This is how make players. This is how cap. This is how they always say. Harbhajan will say, "मेरे को दादा bowler बनाया," because when he was having off days, deep mid wicket, long on, the moment he started very well, ऊपर आजा, saving one, फिर field पे. So he's like a child. Because it can be difficult. Good batters going after you. So it was really good to see. And what I like about him, Shubha, and what he says, great point. I think they're very calm. I know Pat Cummins personally from KK, chilled out, relaxed person, and so is Alex Caddy. So that's the reason why Dhoni. Why is Dhoni so good with DRS? Chilled out person. I met him, kneecap, Joyda, knee gaya, chilled out. He's not. He beat us in Delhi, but he wasn't like this. Game's over. So that comes out in your system, in everything that you do in life. So even in the decision making, there's a in amongst all the chaos, there's a sense of calmness in it, and it's the sort of person you are.
So, Jadika, as you mentioned, Dhoni, I was coming to this point. Yesterday, social media was trending with abuses for Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. That was horrible from the fans because. But another thing, the fans are angry also because this long year we haven't have won the ICC trophy. But uh, who to blame because the players or the management. And another thing is Mahendra Singh Dhoni was also trending because there was a quote from Ravi Shastri where he said Mahendra Singh Dhoni made winning ICC trophies look easy. So is he the greatest captain? What do you think?
I think in white ball cricket, Dhoni has done some incredible things. I think red ball cricket, I think Australia has won 9 ICC trophies and all. You see, sometimes when we lose, we are not good losers. We are not good losers. Inter Milan has lost. How many bad things have you heard?
Exactly.
Everybody's saying, "What a team! They had Man City on the ropes." I was one of the experts says it's going to be 4-0. It was barely 1-0, and it could have been 1-1. So when you lose, you're going to be gracious. When you lose, you're going to find out what the problem is and not panic. I always say there are about 10 teams that play Test cricket. There are about 6 teams. England is hosting the game, but they would give an arm away to be in the final. New Zealand, who is the reigning champions, are not there. So to play 2 years in a row, there's a lot of rant going on about why do we play on pitches which finish in 3 days? If this is what is, if we don't play those pitches, we won't be playing the final, right? We need those points. So it's very calmly sit down. Firstly, after a loss or a bad time, immediately for the first 2 3 days, just let it be, and then start analyzing it.
Mm.
Because fans will be fans, and I'm also a fan of Indian cricket. But I understand. I've been in such situations. I've lost. I've won. So I know. And the better team won under the conditions. Yes, they were better prepared. There are only 3 guys playing IPL. We had 11 guys playing IPL. But it is what it is. We are also these same fans are watching every game of the IPL and going, yeah, I like that also. They don't turn on the TV and say, oh, I'm worried about the WTC. So
Ah,
when shit hits the roof, you can't always blame everybody. Yes, there are issues. Let's try and handle it. Our batting hasn't been good in the last 1 year. It's Akshar Patel, Jadeja, Ashwin. These are the guys that have bailed you out. Our batting hasn't been in the WTC. If you see the top 5, they've not done enough. Do you
mm,
want to go to an Iyer? Do you want to go to somebody like a Safaraz Khan? That is up to the selectors. So these are the discussions that it should be instead of what Dhoni did and what Rohit is not doing. If
exactly.
Dhoni also lost 4 Test matches in England. So that doesn't make him bad. No, his skill set for the team was down.
Mm,
So a captain is as good as his team. I always feel that. Yeah,
exactly.
once you have the team, then you can show your prowess as a captain. But if you don't have a team, you don't have a team. And we were a little bit behind in this game. First day for me was the clue. After the first day, my heart sank because I know this team will not let you catch up. It's like conceding 2 goals or three. You guys are football boys. 2 goals in the first 20 minutes. They will just not let you catch up. That is the problem. So then you try to score goals and they'll end up scoring more goals because now you're attacking. So these sort of things. So it's similar over here. Once you fall behind in the game on day one, then a team like Australia will not let you. A lesser team might give you a chance to get back. They will not get back.
Exactly. Shubha, final thoughts on the social media trends that are going on. Very unfortunate to see.
Yeah, this is something which happens every time. IPL team loses, Indian team loses. It doesn't matter. It has become a norm nowadays, and hopefully, see, I'm not asking the players to do something about it, the fans to do something about it, but the companies, the Instagram, the Twitters, the Facebooks to do something about it. If they don't block out such comments or make an automated system which block out such comments, then this will continue. We'll see silly names popping up as hashtags after every defeat. It will continue to happen. So the onus is on the companies to stop this.
And it's happened
And
before. Effigies of our greatest players have been burnt. And parents had to sit there and see it. A mother had to see her son's effigy being burnt in the front of her house. So we
MS
are
Dhoni,
emotional.
Yuvraj Singh, Sachin Tendulkar, everyone has gone through this.
So we are too emotional. Sometimes take sport as a sport. Doff your hat up if somebody is better than you, because it's happened to me a lot of times where the teams have been better than me, somebody's better than me, and try and learn from that. Try and learn from that because Australia won 9 ICCs. So you haven't lost to Zimbabwe, with all due respect.
exactly. So before we end, Shubha, when are you giving us a tip for Man City's treble?
Hopefully when we meet, hopefully when we meet on 13th, I guess. So yeah, let's see.
And we will decide the menu and the restaurant. He'll just foot the bill.
Done, done,
Exactly.
done.
And Jadidha Shubhain is getting one tattoo also for the treble. So
Okay, nice,
Let's
nice.
see when it
that's all.
happens.
So thank you, Jadidha. Thank you, Shubhain, for joining. It was lovely talking to you, and we hope to uh, see more winnings from the teams. I mean, yes,
Keep the
Jadidha.
faith, guys. Keep the faith. Keep the
Yeah,
faith.
exactly.
Keep the faith.
Exactly.
The best part is 1 month Indian team is not playing, so there's a bit of rest. Enjoy the Ashes.
No, no, no. I wanted India to play in one week because one win, everybody would have turned around. Now this will go on for 2 months. If India had played one day, one week later, and beaten somebody, all that is forgotten. Now talk about this.
Exactly. So that's how it is. So thank you for joining. Jadidha, we'll see you
Thanks,
again.
boys. Yes.
Shubhain, we'll see
Thank
you
you,
again. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
thank you.